Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, we should first offer our respectful obeisances to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Narayan, to Nara Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, Srila Vyasadeva, the author, and to Srila Prabhupada, our spiritual master and founder Acharya. Srila Prabhupada ki, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Talavana ki, Srimad Radharani ki,
Gokula Prabhu ki. Jai.
The place, Gokula, yes. So it's a short purport, so we'll just jump in. See, and I actually haven't read the Sanskrit, so this should be an experience. Papracha Vratam. It is text 4, right?
Yeah, 4. No, it says 5 up there.
So 5 is next one.
Oh, next one, got it.
4.
Okay, so Aruda.
Aruda.
See, Papracham ratam arudha.
Papracha ratam arudha.
Kartasvara parichadam. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Samaropita karmuka papracharatam arudha. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Samaropita karmuka papracharatam arudha. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Samaropita karmuka. Was that 3 times? Or 2? I'll do it one more time. Papracharatam arudha. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Samaropita karmuka. Someone else?
Papracharatam arudha. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhirya vacha. Samaropita karmukaha. Parvacharatam arudha. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Samaropita karmukaha.
Papracharatam arudha. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Samaropita karmukaha.
Papracharatam arudha. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Samaropita karmuka. Papracharatam arudha. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Samaropita karmuka. Papracharatam arudha. Kartasvara parichadam. Megha gambhiraya vacha. Samaropita karmuka.
Okay, so I'll do the word for word. Prapracha,
Papracha,
inquired.
inquired.
Ritam,
Ratam,
chariot.
chariot.
Arudha,
Arudha,
seated on.
seated on.
Kartasvara,
Kartasvara,
gold.
gold.
Parichadam,
Parichadam,
embossed with.
Embossed with.
Megha,
Megha,
cloud.
Cloud.
Gambhira,
Gambhira,
exonerated.
Exonerated.
Vacha,
Vacha,
sound.
sound.
Samaropita,
Samarapita,
well equipped.
well equipped.
Karmaka,
Karmaka,
arrows and bow.
Arrows and bow.
So I'll say, then you say, please. Maharaj Parikit,
Maharaj,
well equipped with arrows and bow,
well equipped with arrows and bow,
and seated on a gold embossed chariot,
and seated on a gold embossed chariot,
spoke to him,
the
Sudra,
Sudra,
with a deep voice,
with a deep voice,
sounding like thunder.
sounding like thunder.
Maharaj Parikit, well equipped with arrows and bow, and seated on a gold embossed chariot, spoke to him, the Sudra, with a deep voice, sounding like thunder. Purport. An administrative head or king like Maharaj Parikit, with full majestic authority, well equipped with weapons to chastise miscreants, can challenge the agents of the age of Kali. Then only will it be possible to counteract the degraded age. And in the absence of such strong executive heads, there is always disruption of tranquility. The elected show bottle executive head, as representatives of a degraded public, cannot be equal with a strong king like Maharaj Parikit. The dress or style of royal order does not count. It is one's actions which are counted. Maharaj Parikit, well equipped with arrows and bow, and seated on a gold embossed chariot, spoke to him, the Sudra, with a deep voice, sounding like thunder. Om
Shri Gurave Namaha.
So you can just imagine this moment, this scene. These Kshatriyas, someone like Maharaj Parikit, and especially in that age, they're still very large. I mean, even right now, today, you can go to a museum in Jaipur, and one of the, from a couple of hundred years ago, Maharaj something Singh, I'm not sure what his first name is, and he was 7 feet 3 inches. His clothes are there. It's huge. And it tells about his daily activities, how much he ate in the morning, how he went out and he did these exercises and he would ride, and practice his art of weaponry. And this was just a few hundred years ago. But back then, someone like Maharaj Parikit, this is just after, he's the grandson of Yudhisthira and Bhima. They were like 15, 18 feet tall. Krishna was considered the runt of the litter. He was only 12 feet tall. And these were powerful. And besides that, we say that you were not qualified by birth. But if all the proper, functions are performed by birth, the royal stock and the saintly Brahmins, they are coming from this heretical line, and they're very powerful personalities. And so Maharaj Parikit, he's coming up to this Sudra, Kali, and he's pretending to be dressed like a king, and he looks foolish, and he's doing something abominable. It says that the cow is standing on one leg, trembling and urinating out of fear. He's shamelessly beating this cow, and the bull, and the cow, she's looking for some grass. her calf, she's separated. You see how these calves cry when they're separated. The cows cry for their calves. Just like we've just seen recently in our own country how when people are coming as refugees to our country, we separate the mother and the children. We call them criminals. It's very painful to watch. So just imagine, and for Parikshit Maharaj, he sees no difference between a human being and a cow. As a matter of fact, these cows, without them, there can be no religiosity. And this is Kali's plan, to destroy authority, to destroy religion. And whose authority does he want to destroy? Krishna's authority. He wants to destroy the authority of Krishna. And first he attacks the cow, who provides us with liquid religiosity. That milk that they're drinking, that you drink from that kind of a cow, hasn't been tainted with steroids and force-fed grains that have all kinds of GMO, what do we call them? Genetically engineered grains, force-fed to increase their weight, antibiotics, because they get sick for overeating. That milk is poison. This milk is liquid religiosity. It helps to develop the finer brain tissues. And here, this Kali's whole plan is to destroy the faith in religion, the faith in the Brahmins, the faith in all authority, including the kings. He's a coward. And what he wants to do is to create quarrel. Where there's quarreling, that's Kali. When quarrel comes when there's no authority, no strong authority, the authority is supposed to represent, like in Srila Prabhupada was representing the disciplic chain of pure spiritual masters. So he is our authority. So when you destroy that authority, then everyone thinks that, in a democracy, everyone thinks that they're the authority. My opinion. I remember I was in a meeting in Mayapur, and it was like a big international temple president's meeting. And I was sitting next to this devotee from Sweden, where they have sort of more of a socialistic form of government. And he marveled at how the Americans were so democratic. And I didn't quite get it. But then I realized that we have such strong opinions. Every man has a vote. My opinion is important. No, my opinion is important. And if we have two people in the room that don't agree, we have a quarrel. If we have 50, then we got a little, rumble. We have a total chaos. And that's what we have in our society. And right now, they're actually, I don't want to get off onto the mundane, but they're literally trying to destroy faith in the American institutions, if they had anything to have faith in. And that's the nature of. Anytime you see this kind of destruction of respect for authority, that is the work of Kali. That is his goal. We should be on guard not to allow him to affect ourselves. First, you should be hard on yourself and gentle with others. So, in this case, you can just imagine the power of Parikshit and what's about to happen. How this coward, Kali, is cowering, fearful of the presence of Parikshit, because in those days there was no need for. It was quick justice. Today we have our court system, and justice is. Poor Verleri, what he's going through. It's supposed to be you have a right to a speedy trial, and they just keep making delay. If you have enough money and buy. And the more money you have, the more expensive a lawyer you have, the better the justice you get. Or things are more in your favor, whether it's, whether you're in the right or the wrong. Money talks. But in this case, at this time, Parikshit sees this pretender to the throne. Clothes don't make the man. Because he dresses like a king, does it make him a king? And Parikshit is about to dish out justice. He's not going to wait for a court and a jury and lawyers and looking up this precedent versus that precedent. He sees a Sudra pretending to be a king, doing the most atrocious act, beating a helpless cow. But we have become so conditioned in our society to what is, we accept things that are completely abnormal as normal. We don't see anything wrong. I'm not we, us, the devotees, but in our society, it's quite a legitimate thing to have slaughterhouses. Although they're kept in secluded places, and generally the slaughtering is done at night. But these things are, and I know one devotee when he was in junior high school or something. They took him on a field trip to a slaughterhouse, and he ran outside and he vomited. He decided at that moment to become a vegetarian. They're so gross, so disgusting, so vile, so violent. You know, where I lived, there was a Tyson's chicken place a few miles away. And you see these trucks where they have these chickens packed together in crates. It's awful. There's so many chickens stuffed in this one crate. And by the way, I just heard Jayapataka Maharaj give an example. And I'm going to quote from that example. Anybody wants to leave, they don't want to hear what Jayapataka Maharaj has to say. I'm sorry. But see? I tried to...
Is she crying? Or laughing?
I don't know. But the fact is that I heard Jayapataka Maharaj give an example in a class in 1986 in Hyderabad in front of Krishna Balaram. And he was talking about something that happened in a slaughterhouse. And that people become so callous that they don't think that these things happen, that are happening all the time. So this man's job, there was a conveyor belt, and this is Jayapataka's words. His disciple told him this. And he said, and again, he said it in a class in front of Krishna Balaram in Hyderabad. You can hear him say, Jai Krishna Balaram. So one by one the chickens are coming down, and his job is boom, boom. You get Jayapataka saying, chop, chop, chop. And then this man behind him keeps annoying him, keeps yelling at him. He turns around, he's so desensitized, he just chops and kills. Then he just keeps doing his job. This is what, in a society, but then in a place like, when we all know that the motto in the West is, dog is the man's best friend. Not the cow. The dog, what does the dog do? He barks, he gives you some protection, but a cow gives you liquid religiosity. But it's okay to slaughter. But they became very upset in the Philippines when, because there they eat dog, they decided to pass a law against killing dogs. And the people became very upset with this. But for us Westerners, we find this shocking. But the killing of cows, chickens, any animal is a shocking thing. It's abominable. And this is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is bringing us, or terrorism. The fact that they're killing in the name of religion. In this same class Jayapataka was giving, he talked about there were some devotees in Rome, and this was around that same time frame of 1986. They were in line to go to a flight to Israel. And for some reason, about 3 or 4 of them had to go back outside to out and leave the lobby. They got out of line. And then the other devotee, he went up. He decided to go up these steps. And just at that moment, these terrorists broke in and just started shooting everybody. And the only people that didn't get shot were the devotees. Krishna protected them. Another example he gave is that because there's no swift justice, he was describing an attack in Mayapur, where the temple was attacked by dacoits. And by some legal trick, they decided to give these dacoits who attacked the temple. They tried to, steal. They shot. I think this is the one where Bhakti Raghava lost his leg, and they took him to the jail. The next day, they were out on bail. These same dacoits, the next day, the same area of Mayapur, the whole Mayapur, they're not necessarily connected to our property, but they're neighbors. These same dacoits attacked a grahasta, a farmer, and he had a shotgun with 2 bullets, and he killed 2 of the dacoits who attacked him. And 2 of those dacoits were 2 of the ones that attacked Mayapur. So Maharaj says that is Krishna's justice, not Kali's justice. Krishna arranged for them to be killed. The leader of that gang of thieves had something like 18 counts of murder against him, and they could never catch him. Finally, his own partners in crime, after arguing over some booty, some stolen goods, they killed him. So this age of Kali is an extremely vile place or time. The only thing that we can do is the chanting of the holy name. We have to put Krishna in our hearts, and then Krishna, in our relationships, and Krishna in this town, and Krishna in this state, and Krishna in this country, and Krishna all over the world. On this property, there should be the Hare Krishna mantra being played all the time. When I first came here, there was japa. For some reason, that japa box stopped. We used to have the japa box going. We should have that going all the time. Because he said that in Mayapur, Prabhupada told them 24 hours there should be the Hare Krishna mantra.
You mean in the pavilion, Prabhu?
Yeah.
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 I barely ever heard it.
You could hear it, it was all over. And I apologize if I've offended anyone, but I'm just trying to describe what the nature of this age of Kali, and how we have a lot of work cut out for ourselves, and how we can't be. We have to really become sincere in applying this Krishna consciousness and try to spread it and purify this atmosphere, so that these awful atrocities that are going on, with terrorism is going on, but even the storms, because we think it's normal for volcanoes and earthquakes and tornadoes and hurricanes, but that is not normal. That is because we don't have God-conscious leaders, Krishna-conscious Kshatriyas leading us with Brahminical advisors. We don't have that. Therefore, the abnormal is happening. And people die in these floods. People die in tornadoes. People die in hurricanes. There's all these huge storms going on, and people are dying. This is because, even like at the time of Yudhishthira, that Brahmin was so upset because 6 of his sons died before he did. So he went to him and said, why is my sons dying before me? It's your fault. You're the king. So Arjuna promised to get his sons back. And finally, he had to go with Krishna all the way up to see, was it Shiradaksha Krishna?
Mahavishnu.
Mahavishnu.
I think I read Mahavishnu.
And Vishnu said that I took the sons because I wanted to get your darshan. And he referred to them as Nara and Narayan, Krishna and Arjuna. And so I wanted to get your darshan, so I took these 6 sons. But that was abnormal to see children die before the father had died. This is normal now. And I don't even want to get into what we do legally to children. So this is a very degraded age, and quarreling amongst ourselves doesn't help. Or pretending to be something that we aren't doesn't help. We have to work together and be respectful of one another. And try to advance the principles of the Krishna consciousness movement. So maybe I'll just end it there because it looks like I've really dropped the bomb here.
No, I have to go, but
No.
I didn't want to go.
No, it's all right.
I was going to finish watching it on YouTube.
That's all right. Yes.
Prabhu, this class is so important because even the Americans themselves are recommending now not to send the kids to the public schools anymore.
Not to send the children to public schools.
It's being already, it's a public thing, like people is against. Why? Because the kids are coming out of schools not respecting anyone, anything. They are not being taught even material values as respecting.
Yeah, they used to be like in ethics. And actually, when I first was, I don't mean to interrupt, but there was a pledge of allegiance and there was a prayer. And then when I was in grade school, an atheist went to court and said that they were offended by that, so they stopped the daily prayer. But and what do you think the definition of secular is? What do you think the definition of secular is? Does it? Because we're a secular state.
It means non-religious, but I thought of that lately too. What does it actually mean?
What it means is atheism. I always thought it meant just like separation of church and state. But if you look up Webster's Dictionary's version, definition of it, it means nothing spiritual or ecclesiastic. So you can't, so we're a secular state. So that means there can be no God in our education. No God, they don't even want God in the government. But they do start their legislation. What does it say?
They started with a prayer.
They started with a prayer, right? But they want to eliminate that as well. But and we do have "In God We Trust" on the dollar bill. And Prabhupada said that was a very good thing, but there's been talk about getting rid of that. And we do say, I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. So we accept.
Only Bible.
Huh?
Only Bible.
Or the scripture of your choice.
You get a choice of Bhagavad Gita too.
Yeah, I mean, like what's in that Tulsi Gabbard,
she's
sworn in on the Bhagavad Gita.
Right.
So just to finish my comment.
I'm sorry, yes.
The Americans themselves are recommending the general public not to send their kids to school anymore because the way the kids are coming, no respect for elderly, no respect for even their own country, no respect for that, and on top of that, the standard or the level of education they come out is like out of high school, third grade or so. They are not able to read properly. They do not know enough math, which are two of the major subjects that Prabhu said that in Gokula, only reading and writing and math, little math, Prabhu said. So these things are not there. Not even materially speaking, these kids are not being trained. So they come out completely lost. Our society. So these kids are the ones, we know the incidents that have happened in all these schools about killings, right?
Yeah.
Their own students, either current students or students that were previous years, are coming back to shoot everyone because their mind is completely lost.
Yeah, and so Srila Prabhupada was very enthusiastic about, like today is a celebrity, our culture is celebrity driven, that, you know, someone is very successful in business or someone is very successful in entertainment world, movies or TV or music, or very successful in some sporting event. These are the people that we respect and worship and that we talk about all the time. But what should be talked about is Krishna. And we need to try to tax our brains, or try to come up with ways to put Krishna into the conversation, to make Krishna the celebrity. He's the source of all our intelligence. He is the source. So therefore, he can give us the intelligence on how to make this movement widespread and popular. Not just popular, but actually just people appreciate it and respect it. In the beginning, we used to be in everything. Now we're being somewhat ignored, as far as I can see, except for maybe in other parts of the world. I just heard about a festival in Ukraine. There was 8,000 to 10,000 devotees there. Really, I mean, it's very successful preaching going on there. And they're really, it will never be totally mainstream. Prabhupada said maybe 1%, 2%, that's all that's required. But we can have enough influence on everyone that it will purify the atmosphere. Because this place is so filled with all these, everything that they accept as the norm, as is completely and totally abnormal. It's completely against all human, or even, let's speak humans, spiritual dignity. The nature of our relationships, our not just husband and wife, the children, the way they're treated, like you were just saying, the education. They don't give enough money. How many strikes there were this past year for in public schools in various states? Because the teachers are paid, they actually have to take money from their own salary to buy supplies to educate the children.
And then get another job.
And then get another job.
Extra jobs.
They're not being paid properly. They're not being paid a living wage. They don't put any value on it. They want everything to be privatized, is what it is. But not everybody can afford that with the way the society is set up. So we have, these farms are actually extremely important. I've heard so many devotees recently in Siddhanta's series on Prabhupada's memories that talk about how Prabhupada said that people will be coming by the tens of thousands, if not millions, because things will be, in the cities, will become so degraded and so chaotic. Yes?
Therefore, I recommend that we all take some books in our bag every time we go to the shopping mart, to the shopping center, to the mail, to the store, anywhere we go.
Right.
Rameshwar used to say that the devotees went everywhere in California and Los Angeles. So he recommended, he said, bring your books to the movies. If you're going to go to the movies, bring your books and give one to someone online waiting for the movie, to watch the movie, So everywhere we go, we have to bring these books and show to the people, because actually they are waiting for these books. They are. In a store in Alatra, this lady, she was very friendly to me all the time and everything. And one day, she was just charmed by my Punjabi, She loved the Punjabi I had. I said, do you want it? I'll bring it tomorrow. Let me wash it and I'll bring it to you. Oh, would you give? Yeah, I'll give it to you. So I went and washed it and came back with the Punjabi. she took it because she just loved the, loved
The style.
Yeah, and she did go to the temple and she brought her kids and everything. And so, people are getting attracted by the devotees.
We also need to give them a place to come to.
Yes.
We need to become more of a community and give a more complete example that people can actually find something when they get here. Sometimes they get here and it's like not formed very well, and so we can't help them adequately. So that's also the other half of book distribution, is give them something to come to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's best. But I just want to make the point that I didn't know that yesterday there was a problem in the class because I wasn't there, and I had already done research for this class, and the research I had done was the main thing I was going to mention was this thing that Jayapataka Maharaj said in his class about a slaughterhouse.
And then you found out there was a problem.
And then I found out there was a problem, and I thought, well, maybe I shouldn't say it. But then I thought, well, why not? I mean, what's the problem? So I apologize if I've offended certain individuals when they've left the temple room. I didn't mean to I didn't expect it to come out that way, but I thought, I was actually thinking of not even using it, but somehow or other, Super Soul it just happened.
Maybe it needs to.
Thank you very much.
It needs
Well,
to-
Jayapataka didn't seem to think
He
so.
said it, so
I'm
why can't
repeating
you
it.
repeat it?
And then I didn't say it because of what happened yesterday. I was going to say it anyway.
I don't see the problem.
Thank you. Yes.
I think it's important. I think it's important that we face this issue. That Srimad Bhagavatam class is a place for truth, and Krishna is in every atom. He knows what blood is. He knows what suffering is. He knows what's going on. We're not saying anything new and shocking. In fact, the Krishna book has stories of gore like rivers of blood.
How about Ranyakasipu with an garland of intestines?
Yeah, and I want to say that what is most shocking to Krishna is whenever we say something mundane, which is the same as blood. I mean, it's all made of the same inferior energy, and where it shows some attachment to it, and also when we are complacent about these things because we don't talk about it and don't realize. So I think it's really important that as a community, we come to grips with this issue where sometimes it's supposed to be, not supposed to be talked about. It's a truth. We have to be fully, sharply aware of what's going on in this world, and Bhagavatam class is a place for truth. And I think it's positive that we actually face all this.
Did you have something you wanted to say?
Right. I was going to mention that Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead, which means that's the supreme truth. And so in an environment of truth, we should be truthful. Also, in the standards of the community would actually, as Jesse shared with us, Prabhupada said, become ideal, and then people will come.
Mm-hmm.
And if we invite people, we need to make sure it's ideal here too. No hypocrisy, no pretense, no sneakings, just truthful people, because people can pick up on that.
Yeah.
And when I see people come and leave and actually mention this, y'all not doing what you preach.
Well, sometimes
So we need to practice.
I would like to.
people think that niceness is religion.
No, it's
And
not.
sometimes truth is pretty stark. And we have to not be afraid of speaking the truth.
So, yeah, can I just give that? So there was one other. This was in the same class. There was a joke that Jayapataka Maharaj gave. And it was from a cartoon that he had seen. And in the cartoon, it's a soothsayer, and he's sitting in front of a soothsayer is a woman, and there's a crystal ball. And you just see in the first caption, soothsayer saying, "Oh, in your last life, you were someone very important." The next says, "You were a colonel." And then it says, "You were Colonel Sanders." And then you see the last box is, You see a chicken sitting there.
Oh.
Mhm.
Oh.
So that's the truth. The truth is that if we're these without being properly educated, what to speak of the pain and suffering they're causing to those living entities, the pain and suffering they're causing to themselves, and that the reality is that they're about to take birth in these lower forms of life, maybe for thousands of lifetimes or more. I mean, was it saying in the Srimad Bhagavatam, for each hair on the body of a cow,
Right.
there's something like 1,000,000 births or 10,000 births? That's one hair. And how many hairs are there on the cow?
A whole bunch.
So how many lifetimes in hell is that? The only way to save them is through prasadam distribution, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, Harinam Sankirtan, book distribution, and, like that. Because if we understand just how severe their future is, and the future of this civilization, our own relatives, everyone, and actually we're related to every living entity. So it's incumbent on us to take up this mission very seriously, with great, the sense of urgency, that people are actually going to hell. This isn't like some fire and brimstone statement. And like Parikshit Maharaj, our justice, we don't have the sword. Our justice is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We cut through the sinful reactions, we cut the chain of sinful reactions by the transcendental sound vibration of the holy name. Anyway, I better go.
Prabhu, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
That I agree with Prabhu's and Madhav's previous comment, that we have to be prepared and we have to be an ideal community and we have to be a Krishna conscious society. But in the other hand, you just said it, it's a crisis, it's a very serious situation, so we cannot wait until we are perfect or prepared. We have to do it now.
We have to do simultaneously.
If we don't tend to our own self and community, then we haven't, got anything for people to come to. So that's also a crisis.
I can appreciate what she's saying.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
We have to do both.
Well, part of the process for us to become pure is to distribute.
Yeah.
And that's what our mission is.
We can't wait.
Yeah, Prabhupada didn't wait, in the beginning, he just gave everything to anybody that would come.
Thank you for mentioning the books. We're going to carry some of this.
Prashad.
And invitation for it. We never take prashad.
Well, I heard that Yogendra mentioned that what you do is, maybe you should say, but he told me like you'd be in a Walmart and Mataji, and you have the cookbook with you or something?
Yeah, depending on where I am. Prabhupada said, just be friendly and speak about Krishna consciousness, So that's what I do. I see their cards full of meat, full of stuff, and I still have to approach them and say, oh, so you're cooking today. You're the cook today at home. And they say, yeah, well, no, maybe my husband, whatever they say, I say, well, I want to give you this. So that's for the cookbook, that's for the higher taste. But also, not that I'm being racist or anything, but for black people, they love the Beyond Birth and Death book. Because I give it to them and I said, oh, this speaks about the soul, and you know about the soul more than I do. And they laugh, and they like that because they eat soul food or they listen to soul music or whatever. And they love that, and they take the book and they...
And you're right in the store?
Yeah.
You're just giving, right? You're not getting donations.
Huh?
You're just giving free.
No, I'm asking for donations.
You are asking for
and
donation.
they give donations.
We just give.
No, we don't do that.
One time I met
So
this
there's
boy
no
that was looking through the shelves, and he looked very serious, and I approached him, and it turned out that his sister was looking for some kind of philosophical understanding of life, and he has seen his books in his sister's shelf or whatever,
Yeah.
and he was very grateful to get the Gita. I have Bhagavatam also. I have all the books. I have done my idiosyncrasy about distributing to certain people, but all the books are perfect for everyone. So I gave him a Gita, and he was so grateful, so grateful. And I said to him, I didn't want to go out, because every day is a struggle with my mind, with my body. I always ask Prabhupada, please just let me get out of the house, and then you can help me out there to find the right souls. But I told him, I told myself, I didn't want to come out, and now here it is, this boy so ready, so willing, so intelligent, taking the Gita. And sometimes I see people with their little ID cards or whatever. They work in a hospital, they are from the Navy, they are from the Army. So I approached them, I said, can I ask you a favor? You're from the Army, right? You're still in the Army or you retired? If they are young, I know they're still in the Army, but sometimes they are old. I said, are you still in the Army? They said, no, but I go there to check every month or every 6 months or whatever. I said, I have a favor to ask you. Could you please put this book in the library? This is the Bhagavad Gita series. It's a battle that happened 5,000 years ago. And it speaks about the social values that we have lost in society. So they are very enthusiastic about taking the book. Yeah, sure, I'll do it for you. Yeah, no problem. And I say, we usually ask everybody to do a donation so we can continue printing these books all over the world. And if it's not a question of the card, the credit card, which is a big deal now, they will give a donation. Very sweet. It's very sweet being out there. One time I saw this group of, I go in there, not authorized, of course, by the property owners. And then I saw these two gentlemen recruiting from the Army. But they were also doing it like that. They didn't have a table, nothing. They just went in the store to scan any young gentleman, to give them an invitation, to tell them to come to the Army. So I followed them and see what they were doing. And then in one moment I approached them. I said, are you recruiting people? They said, yeah. Yeah, we're invited. I said, well, I'm going to recruit you. So I gave them a Gita also. And they were so, they were grateful. I asked them, just put them in the library, you read a couple pages, and I tell them, very fast. It has to be fast, it has to be sweet, it has to be friendly, it has to be, I can no longer be in the parking lots. It's too much for me. My body cannot stand it. And even inside the store, it's hard for me because I have to walk still, Yeah. But at least I have the cart. So I bring 40 books, 40, 60 books, put them in the cart, and distribute 20, distribute 30, go get more, and push the cart. It's much better.
How long do you last? How long do you last before you get caught?
I try to last at least 2 hours. I don't go in the busy areas, like I go, I go in the
But they have
groceries.
cameras, don't they?
They have cameras.
Yeah, they do, but I do, I am very careful because I approach people very friendly, very, very friendly. I get very close to them. I touch them. I shake hands like if we were friends, and they become my friends, really, Yeah.
And they see you exchanging money. They see you.
It's very fast.
Oh.
It's very fast. I don't ask for, if you give me 10, give me 20. No. I just said, usually we just ask for donations. So they give me whatever. If they give me $1, I'm happy with $1. I don't argue. I don't ask for another $1. Nothing. I just get the donations, rescue Lakshmi, and
So we don't have to do deity service or have a farm anymore because all we got to do is books.
No,
So this is, I
not.
try real hard not to make people who can't do books feel like.
No, he asked me to say.
Feel like that.
No,
Because
he asked me to
This is
say.
your
No,
map.
he asked me to say
So the
stories.
book
This is
distribution
her
the
map.
worst thing.
This
No,
is
no,
your
no, you
map.
cannot go in the store to do that because that's not
Everybody
your
has their
service.
talent. It's not like
That's
she's
not
just
your
telling what
Because
she
I
does.
totally failed at book distribution once I gave up stickers. I could not do it.
No, stickers are not good.
And now people start saying, book distribution is the main thing. Everybody should listen to books. That's how we get here.
No, she asked me to, she said maybe you should say.
No, but
So I'm telling you stories about what I
I mean,
do.
I can't.
Your mental is not like that because you're not asking for donations. If you meet a friend and you obviously represent Krishna because you are dressing like
Somebody has to go to
Everybody
bed.
doesn't go to town.
Somebody asked Prabhupada like that about what if everybody did like this. And he said that, he started saying,
Yeah.
we need people like you who are doing this, and he mentioned
Oh,
all
yeah,
these different
definitely.
Has to be there.
Like myself, I couldn't be dressing the deities every day. I'm not a pujari,
So
I
we-
know that I like to talk to people.
It's nice to have a balance, like the story is in Atlanta when Prabhupada came and the devotees were like trying to be political, and they said, Prabhupada, which way can we please you the best? And the book distributors wanted to be proud, and Prabhupada would say, by distributing my books. And he said that you love Krishna.
Yeah, he's a
So
gentle, be happy.
it's not just literally being the book distributor.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways you get purified, a lot of ways you can push the movement forward and entice people and attract people and so
Yeah,
on.
I just told the story because he asked me. He said maybe you should say. So I'm telling you my methods, but you can't do that because you're not doing that by yourself. You're doing other
Yes,
things.
I was amazed when I heard Yogendra explain it to me the other day, and I just wanted to actually, because I know that I would find that very difficult. I'm just, it's interesting to see how devotees are empowered to do different types
Well,
of
20
services.
years ago, devotees told me, we go in the store and we distribute books, and I thought I will never be able to do that. At the time, I didn't conceive that. But then through the years, and because you're doing it steadily, Krishna empowered you, like you say, it's not my doing, but it's Krishna. And like on Radharani's day, on Srila Prabhupada appearance, of Lord Balaram, I go out for 2 hours and I know I'm doing it for them, because they are giving me some kind of strength or whatever. And it goes really sweet and really nice. So it's not my doing. It's not my personal doing. It is Krishna's mercy that he allows, because he knows I cannot do any other services. Like I couldn't be cleaning the temple because my back hurts, because my body does the floors, There are things that I cannot do. So Krishna says, okay, you like to talk to people, then I give you facility. But that's my service. Anybody else has other services? Yes. I'm encouraging people to bring prasadam. And you used to have prasadam in your store.
We don't have
You used
a
to
store,
have.
we don't have a store.
No, you used to
When
have.
you
But I
don't
mean,
take
you used to
prasadam
have.
to town.
You used to have little
and
Mahaprasadam in your store.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
So-
Situation's different.
Any facility you have, you should give prasadam and you should give.
she can't paint paintings, and
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
So-
take paintings, I can't do deity
No,
service.
Yeah.
but you
And I
hang
can't
them in the
start
temple.
conversations with people. I can't do it.
Well, no one's,
I can
no
hardly
one's,
talk to my friends.
that's not, don't feel
Don't get
threatened by it.
frustrated for that.
But
I
when
can
people
hardly-
come here,
Well,
you
it's like you
ask.
if you ask me, Mahatma, now paint this
Yeah.
painting because I cannot finish it. I will tell you, oh
This
my
is
God, I can't do it. But I'm not going to get frustrated, I just know my limitations.
So it takes all these together.
Yeah.
Like I used to, when I first came here, there was flower garlands everywhere, all over the town of Picayune. There was that lady right there. She was putting flower garlands on all the statues of the Catholic Church, all the people in the stores. They all had flower garlands. How did you do that? I mean, everywhere there was flower garlands, and I realized she was going around giving them to everybody.
Wow.
Even
Some places
like you
Jesus
go
is
right to
Lord,
the
you
Catholic
put a
Church,
garland
you'd see the
there.
statues outside the church. They would all had right around these flower garlands on.
No.
Wow.
We just
I
have
used
to,
to pay I used to go to the Catholic Church, play the deities outside because they neglect it. Because Mary,
like, this is,
Yeah.
visionary.
Oh, so you would actually wash them?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
They probably like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so everyone has something they can offer. That's like the spider and Hanuman. You
yeah.
know, that example. It's everybody's service is appreciated by Prabhupada.
Oh, someone mentioned today that sometimes what's somewhat distasteful sounding is really meant to be. We don't want to come back here. And if someone refuses to hear the truth, it may be, we don't need to talk about how they sharpen this or that in the slaughterhouse. That's the super, super detail. But it does need to be mentioned. If we go, oh, I don't want to hear that, guess what? That's normal. You don't need to be here. This is not your home. This planet. We're supposed to be somewhere else. And if someone is, I don't want to hear it, and they run out, we need to go catch them. I'll talk to them and say, look, the reason why you have that aversion, is that a good word? Is because you're not supposed to be here as a soul. And if you run out, you're missing the recovery from that, the solution to that.
But everyone has a different, and what's one man's food is another man's poison.
Wow.
Okay, so obviously I distributed some food, and some people thought it was poison. I apologize.
Thank you, Prabhu. I think you did a good job, though.
Well,
You have to say.
I didn't want
You
to.
speak the truth in
I
love.
didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm just repeating what I heard.
Yeah, you speak the truth in love.
From me, I thank you again for your association, and now I need your prayers because I heard that my little town is flooded.
What? We're in Mexico?
Yeah, yeah. So please pray for that so I can get there and not big damages.
Do you have
I need my son is very ill right now.
Oh, Hare Krishna.
He's been in and out of the hospital. He's having some problems.
Is today?
He's not in the hospital today.
Who is this, Prabhu?
Is done? Is
My
it
son.
done?
Oh,
And then my wife is going in tomorrow.
Vidura Prabhu.
Yeah, Vidura, yeah. He's having trouble with his kidney all of a sudden.
Oh, no.
Kidneys.
Jaya, Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.